And there was something about that slander that came in to this room. It literally changed the energy that we had here before. I mean, this was like we were having very deep conversations. We were talking about the real thing. We were going for the real kill, the real answers. And all of a sudden, we're just thrown out of like, it just felt like something happened and, the whole mood just changed, the energy level dropped. And I just felt like I needed to point that out. Even I still feel that that slander that came into the space literally explains how it really goes down in the real world. Like, you know, the mood and everything just drops. And I'm just glad that we're having this conversation and we're actually experiencing these things together.
Hey guys, back again. Thanks, Pop Culture and TB, for doing the biz while I was away. Maybe I'll just take the opportunity to speak, if that's okay, Karen. Just had some time to think about things while I was taking a short break there. Just there's huge feedback when my speaker is on and others aren't unmuted. So if everybody could mute their speaker, that'd be appreciated. Um, yeah. So I want to start by saying that I've been asked to give the gentleman who came in earlier a pass because of PTSD. I've shared this before. I suffer from acute PTSD due to childhood trauma and also as a result of my line of work. I am on no medication and I am capable of self-regulation. I ignored it for 35 years of my life, and then I spent 2 years of intensive counseling, which I would never have even considered because I considered myself not to be a person who was open to that type of therapy. I spent a long time looking for it, and I was very lucky to meet two people who I consider angels on earth, one a male and one a female, one working in the Cardiff Primary Care Centre, which is not too far from Blanchardstown, and another one working in the centre of Dublin City, in a place that I won't mention. One of them helped me with the trauma-informed counselling element, and the other helped me with desensitization from hyper-awareness, hyper-alertness, chronic insomnia, night terrors, and so on, with 100% success and no medication. So no, I will not give anybody a pass for PTSD. And PTSD is different from every person for every person. Mine was extreme due to extreme circumstances. Some people get PTSD because they get a fine in the post. They devalue the word PTSD. That's called not having coping skills, not PTSD. So I do not give the gentleman a pass on the PTSD line. Secondly, and very personally, because I am not mandated to speak on behalf of one of my sons, but one of my three sons is a gay man and a eminently beautiful individual who was brought up in the exact same environment as his other two brothers, who one of whom is a PT and the other of whom is a very avid sportsman and a very successful salesman. And I love all three of them equally. And for anybody to call out the for anybody to call out hate toward anybody uh, who's gay. If there is a hell, I hope they burn in sulfur for eternity in the ninth circle. Well, actually, the ninth circle is the iced bit with Satan, so let them go there. With respect to the horrific allegations that that gentleman made earlier, he posted a tweet which I reported to Twitter. It read as follows. But he posted many tweets, but his last one was government sources, some sort of a Twitter link. And then he said, this space is the delusion of grandeur, secret agent man, cryptoplanter space, one I won't lose sleep over, straw man arguments and character attacks because he wants to shut down the truth. Gay pride gets women and children raped by. Okay, so that's that gentleman's contribution, and will survive the space, and I've reported it to Twitter. Um, a despicable individual, regardless of his Asperger's and his life experience, a horrific representation of what I would consider to be somebody who is ill, but illness is not a defense under the law when you commit a crime. I'd also like to point out that I worked with Ken Pennington and a number of others in the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, in Kazakhstan and North Africa, in the anti-human trafficking and the anti-sex trafficking initiatives, and therefore reduces the thesis of that egregious, horrific representation of a human to absurdity. But what I will say is that for the first time in a very long time, I have felt myself in the presence of evil. And I think that I've seen a lot of evil, but for the first time in my life, I think that I have seen the representation of somebody that's possessed, and I'm not a religious person. I subscribe to no faith, and I believe in the right of anybody to subscribe to any faith whatsoever, and to do so with equality of secularism, where everybody is allowed to do what it is that they preach to, as long as it is not antisocial and not against the laws of common decency. But once again, I will underline the fact that the energy level in this room was sucked empty by a force of evil through the voice of a person possessed